I think what's been really exciting as we talk about the transition of this out of my career but into the role is that, as you said, the causes that have been very important to me I can focus even more energy on, because very early out of the gate I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility, which I take seriously. And it was really one of the first things we connected on. It was one of the first things we started talking about when we met, was just the different things that we wanted to do in the world and how passionate we were about seeing change. I think that was, that's what got date 2 in the books, probably.
Plenty to talk about.
My name is Harry, I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is October 7th, 2023. It is 2:31 a.m. I really was not gonna make any videos today because I'm up to date and there wasn't really anything major to share with you, but I'm up and I guess I might as well create a video. So it took me a while. I was searching for some tweets to share with you, but I ended up with quite good amount of tweets. So I have 7 tweets where we have a little bit discussion regarding the Harry and Meghan Parents Summit. If you go on our Part of Pew service, there is a video that dedicates to that summit. I recorded it yesterday. I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes of recording. The parts that had the summit, I remove it from that recording and make it separate and put it on the charities channel. And then I think I ended up with 30, close to 40 minutes worth of videos for this channel on that same recording that I removed the Parent Summit tweet. All right, so I sort of divided. I think within the recording, I was saying, I don't know how I'm going to put it, but when I edit, I decided to separate them because I want to keep the charities topic onto the charities channel, and gossip and things not really important, things to sort of inform you what the squads are talking about, or on this channel, and eventually on PYTE, which is my main channel for gossip. Okay, this one is a backup. All right, so for the fashion squaddies, I have 6 tweets. A lot of it is a bit of repetition. What I mean by repetition is like retweets of the same main topic, but a different caption that create new conversation. Okay, so I think there's a video that was that was shown, and then other people retweeted, and whatever I come in terms of the caption that seems to make reasonable discussion, I copy the link to share with you. So some of these are just repetition, just different caption. All right, this part here, I have 6 tweets when it comes to fashion, and that's for the squaddies who are into fashion. This one I just saw, I'm a little bit lost about it, but it seems it's making reference to security. Okay, these are some little notes for me. Security, and where I put here, there's another note here. I'm lost. I'm not sure where it originated from. Usually when the squads bring a conversation, it starts from somewhere. So from that somewhere, I don't know where. Okay, but I have an idea what they're making reference to, but what make the caption to start, I don't know. Okay, so these are the Rangers. I put the Rangers. These are crazy talk. What happened was that there's a picture that the squad, I mean, I was not going to share it, but I think it's because of this, the second part. I come across the tweet and I was like, oh, I know where it started. So I went back and searched for this video, this tweet, and I put it on the link. So it relates to that one. Okay, so this one I saw, because when I was reading the comments, I was like, oh, is this what they're talking about? So I went back to look for this tweet, and then I put it so you know where this one is coming from. All right, so these are silly thing. I put LOL, okay? So it's just for funny stuff. All right, so I think there's like 18. 2 LOL, 2 for the Rangers, 1 security, I think it is, 6 into fashion, and about 7 regarding the summit, more of a discussion, and maybe 2 or 3, I think these 2 have nothing to do with the summit. Okay, so let's do my back end review of my channel. Feel free to skip this part here because this is just for reference purposes. Okay, 3,348 subscribers, new subscribers welcome, and my estimate revenue $333.64. And remember, on all of my videos I have links to my Cash App and PayPal, and if you want to join my Patreon, the link is there as well. So that's another way of you of supporting me. And if, for instance, YouTube demonetize all of my things and or remove me from YouTube, you will find me on Patreon. Okay, I'll probably carry out the same thing on Patreon if YouTube does not want me to put any content here, because one of my channels is demonetized, so this one is a backup. Okay, and I'm hearing a lot of squatties, positive Sussex channels are being shut down left and right, either demonetized or shut down. So there's a possibility I might be one of them sooner or later. I don't know. I don't think I'm saying anything illegal. That's not right. I don't know. I don't know what they think. But so, who knows? All right. This is my other page to show off what's going on in the back end. $333.64. And in the last 48 hours, I had 7,957 views. And my subscribers is going up. Okay, so let's go on Twitter. Alright, so this is the one that shows I was lost, but it's coming up later. Okay, you saw it, it was on the list. That's the one I was like, I was kind of lost. Okay, so this is the first one. Alright, why did I put this? Okay, the context for this debate was this picture, in case you think we forgot. Okay, so that's this video that they were discussing something. I showed this before. So someone put this saying, what is this making reference to? Okay, so this is Chris Evan who's saying, who is she? She dragged them all. Okay, so she pretty much, all the panelists that was next to her, she dragged them up. That's what he's making reference to. I follow him on Twitter. I call him Twitter encyclopedia because he has receipt of almost everybody who's on Twitter. All right, so this one, he's asking who is she, and then this person here, Dr. Zenye, is making reference to, this is what they're making reference to. Okay, the context for this debate was this picture, in case you think we forgot. Intended or unintended, it was racist and did what it was intended to do. Get the British public to dehumanize Harry and Meghan's children. That is why social media accounts discredit their existence. Okay, so with the thing, playing with the psyche, the mind of people and the media in UK, this have been going on for a very long time. I have a video on PYTE where I sort of share, I forgot how the video went, but where I discuss in terms of how the tabloid originate with their racist kind of tactic. Okay,
and racism as such, as a philosophy, kicked in was as a direct reaction to the abolitionist movement. The abolitionist movement, driven by some of the leading intellectuals of the day, as well as driven by hundreds of thousands of ordinary people in this kingdom who signed petitions after petitions and presented them to the House of Lords. When the abolition movement really kicked in from the 1780s onwards, the planters had to respond. And so this is where you get the most virulent imagery about brutal, pagan, bestial.
But the media is a powerful force.
black people in the literature and in the imagery.
Cartoons portraying black people as licentious and depraved began to circulate.
But the media is a powerful force.
The anti-abolitionist Edward Long wrote,
The lower class women in England are remarkably fond of the blacks. In the course of a few generations more, the English blood will become so contaminated with this mixture as even to reach the middle and then the higher orders of the people. This is a venomous and dangerous ulcer that threatens to disperse its malignancy far and wide until every family catches infection from it.
But the media is a powerful force.
I'll put the screenshot when I'm editing. Okay, who is she? So let's listen to this again. 2 minutes and 5 seconds. It's on another video, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, because I shared this video already. All right, but let's listen.
As well, we've got to distinguish between intended racism and accidental racism. Otherwise, we don't give people the chance to redeem themselves. If everything is racist, whether you intended it or not, then there's no forgiveness.
Because I remember when I first shared this video, and I was like, what's intended and unintended racist or whatever? The tweet that I shared was making reference to Indians. Now I remember. We're making reference to Indian. Why do Indians tends to have like a gatekeeper kind of thing for racists? This kind of thing, all right? That, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying when I first shared it with you, the tweet that had that video was making reference to that, okay? The caption of that tweet.
There's no redemption and there's no apology.
The concept of forgiveness.
There's no apology. Why apologize if you're guilty anyway?
Yeah.
Then that's it. You can't change it. You know. And
but you have to show some sort of remorse, okay? If you mean it, obviously, you have to show your remorse. This is why apology is there for. My goodness.
No, it's.
Do you not accept that? I mean, you're sitting back and I get you're upset.
I'm ready to speak. I haven't had a chance to come in. In response to your question, Carol, you know, my issue is that everybody makes the person who does the racist thing the victim. So you're asking, is it right that he was sacked? Greg's saying he's a nice guy, he's going to lose his job. You know, how is he the victim in this scenario? This is a pregnant woman who had to arrange new levels of protection because of the amount of racist abuse she was receiving, which escalated when she announced she was pregnant. She's always had racist abuse, but when she announced her pregnancy, it multiplied because there is so much toxic racism in our society.
It's not Danny Baker's fault.
That's not Danny Baker's fault, but what is Danny Baker's fault is that he did something which was so offensive that when I first saw it, I actually thought it was a prank. I just thought nobody who the BBC gives a platform could be stupid enough to say this and not intend it to be racist, because it is one of, and we could talk about unintended racism or microaggressions, this is none of those. This is the most blatant, clear-cut example of racism. It's that generations of people have recognised this as an overtly racist trope. Within people's lifetimes, black people were still being compared to monkeys and dehumanised regularly.
So the sacking is right.
So I'm not interested in him. I'm not interested in him or what happens to him. By the way, he's already done a show which was more successful than his previous shows since he's been sacked. So if you're worried about his career, then I suspect
no one's worried about
there's no
his
reason to.
career.
I'm not interested in him. I'm
talking.
worried about the millions of black people who regularly live with this kind of abuse and then have to be in spaces like this where everybody denies it's a problem. That is something that I could not feel more strongly about, and I'm living it right now in this conversation. It's not good enough.
All right, so this is why Chris Evans is saying, who is she? She dragged them all, all right? This kind of thing. The only thing I could say when it comes to things like that, where people, it's like something in people's brain when someone else is going through something, some sort of a pain and distress, but the person who's inflicting those pain and distress into that other person have something in their brain where it blocks them from recognizing what is actually happening. Now, the only solution for this, because they refuse to understand, they refuse to see or wrap their head around certain things, put themselves in somebody else's shoes to understand the feeling of that person. The only thing that I could say is, as hard it is for me to say, it's just that they have to go through it. They have to experience it, feel the pain, see the nonsense that was put into the other person, for them to understand. I don't want people, this is what life's supposed to be, okay? You have certain group who went through certain things, they see it, they feel it, and then the ones that come out alive, okay, live to tell their experience. Through that, the people who have not gone through it try to understand it. That way they do not make the same mistake. They don't go to the same path of distress or a trap, whatever it is. Okay? The thing is, you learn from it and then you improve on it and you become a better human being. But it seems like what our society seems to be going through right now is we keep on repeating, which means there is no progress at all. So in order for us to have progress, in my humble opinion, I'm not an expert, okay? This is just basic common sense to me. In order for us to move forward, if people cannot wrap themselves or their mind around other people's pain, they just have to go through it themselves, okay? They just have to go through it, experience it. If they come out alive, they become a better human being. If they don't, well, that's up to them because they refuse. There were so many warnings for them to prevent them from going through it. So if they didn't come out alive in it, I'm sorry. That's all I could say, because people need to live in peace at some point. Okay, that's all I could say. It's like the gloves are off now if you can't understand it, but you keep on inflicting unnecessary pain. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna try not to stay too long on it because these are things that usually bring good conversation. Let's see what they say here. I'm not sure about this receipt, but to be clear, is it the inference that he could be a taxi driver or because of the phrase black cab? What the hell? Okay, I don't know what this is about because the person limit who could see it, so let's skip that. Okay, and the royal family never condemned it. Not the queen, not the new king, his father, not the future king, his brother. That's when I knew that Meghan and her children will never be safe or protected in that family or in that system of monarchy. Okay, I don't know. Way before this, I knew the brother was behind all of that. In some videos, I've said when Harry brought Meghan to meet the family, I don't know where I read it. I don't know where, but it seems like, in my humble opinion, Meghan and Charles got a pretty good, Meghan and Charles start really on a good understanding or some sort. But something happened. Someone or a group of people must have put some nonsense in Charles' head, and then he switched. And then that's where Charles become a freaking idiot to continue the nonsense. Okay? That's when I knew Meghan and her children will never be safe or protected in that family or in that system of monarchy. I was watching the David Beckham story and taking it back and appalled at how nasty, disgusting, revolting, and terroristic the UK hate toward him was for getting a red card in the game. I mean, what I've learned from the 2020, is it what was that that football match that happened in 2020 where the black footballers missed the goal, the way the UK went crazy? I mean, this is insane. I mean, yeah, some football people take those games really, really serious. Some players I've read in South America have lost their life because they miss a goal. So, whatever. Okay, and Australian winning the match, shocking. UK is the cool capital of the world, both him and his. Like I said, evil originate over there. Okay, Baker is Millwall fan who was on the terraces in the 1980s where, okay, when black footballers were subject to bananas and monkeys chant every week. Whatever he and his supporters said, there's no way he didn't know the connotations. I waited for media to raise this point, none did. I mean, this is why we have to speak about our own pain, because they're inflicting. The people who's always inflicting the pain, they don't see the problem because they're not feeling it. This is the thing here. This kind of thing comes into feeling. emotion, feeling. Once they start feeling certain things, they will understand. Okay, there should be no place for racism in football. While Clyde, now 60, was made to feel at home by most West Ham fans, there was a small element of National Front followers who polluted the Upton Park terraces and made their presence felt with obscene chant aimed at any black players, even if, like Bess and Ade Coker, they were wearing the claret and blue of West Ham. Okay, I don't know anything about that, but I know there's racism in football. It was intended for show. We have elephant memory. Yep, I will never forget this image ever. And in my opinion, it was indeed intentional. All right, after these three, that's it. All right, I think I'm reading everything. Yep, I'm reading everything. So let's continue here. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw the image. When I saw that image, Harry and Meghan were stripped of their basic humanity. It was awful. Anyone who defends this abuse needs to search their conscience, if they have any. The British royal family allowed this abuse to fester to this day. They never stopped it. It was very much intended. Well said. They insult and bias black people, and when confronted about it, as they coward they are. Okay, as they coward they are. They come out with their pitiful excuse. They all are baggage for God. Like I said, they just need to go through it. Oh my God, I'm already 19 minutes, so that's probably gonna be 2 videos on things that I thought I would not be making videos. Next tweet. Okay. How much could it possibly cost to house Meghan? I wanted to say she doesn't eat much, you know, and I'll ask her to make her own clothes if you like. Prince Harry. Spare. This is 1 minute and 4 seconds.
Pa didn't financially support William, me, and our families out of any largesse. That was his job. That was the whole deal. We agreed to serve the monarch, go wherever we were sent, do whatever we were told, surrender our autonomy, keep our hands and feet inside the gilded cage at all times, and in exchange the keepers of the cage agreed to feed and clothe us. Was Pa, with all his millions from the hugely lucrative Duchy of Cornwall, trying to say that our captivity was starting to cost him a bit too much?
Wow.
Besides which,
even though I've heard this before, this part here, how our captivity is costing him so much. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan were the one who were making them look good. Let's move it back around here. This is very telling.
Pa, with all his millions from the hugely lucrative Duchy of Cornwall, trying to say that our captivity was starting to cost him a bit too much. Besides which, how much could it possibly cost to house and feed Meg? I wanted to say, she doesn't eat much, you know, and I'll ask her to make her own clothes, if you like. It was suddenly clear to me that this wasn't about money. Pa might have dreaded the rising cost of maintaining us, but what he really couldn't stomach was someone new dominating the monarchy, grabbing the limelight. Someone shiny and new coming in and overshadowing him, and Camilla. He'd lived through that before and had no interest in living through it again.
Wow. Very, very telling. Very telling. Okay, mind you, Meghan was the one furnishing his tiny low-ceiling cottage with her suit checks. Funny how those who think what the royal do is work don't think the black one should have been paid for it. My goodness. All right, this one I can see. You mean the wedding dress that the designer said Meghan paid for herself? Get the F out of here. All right. I've often wondering how Harry's choice of word, quote, ask her to make her own clothes, end quote, seems to me that Meg, like her mom, is also a talented dressmaker. He didn't want Meghan to go to Scotland when Betty died because he was afraid that the media would write about her instead of him. Oh my Lord. The guy was thinking of being overshadowed on the day that his mother died. Yeah, this is crazy. Who is he thinking about saying this to? What comment is it in response to? Without knowing the context, it's hard to assign any weight to it. What the? Read the damn book. Alright, let's see here. Oh shit. It's from his book. Read it, context for you. Okay, I don't know. Oh my God, thanks for sharing. You can read his book to get context. I'm like, my goodness. All right, where was that? Damn, I miss it. That was from here. Oh, wow. If this is you, it's not a good look. All right, what a despicable father and family. I hope karma deals with them. What was it? There was a tweet that I come across. I don't think I put it. I think that was from yesterday or something. That they want them back. Well, it was the conversation, so never mind. Okay, it really ticked me off that a prince had to worry about housing and feeding his wife. Now he can house, feed, and clothe his family on his own. Yeah, he just left and said, F this, I could make it on my own. Because he understands his space. He understands the position that he's in. He doesn't have to deal with this nonsense. Okay, did they not expect him to have a wife and children of his own? They expected him to work for the family, but not provide him with room and board like they did for the heir. The indignity of having to ask for support for his wife, I know. How about treatment by the king of his daughter-in-law? Just awful. All right, so let's go to the next tweet. This is crazy. This is why they really pissed, because they're inflicting pain onto Harry. Now Harry is saying what he went through, and then they subject to it. They feel, when I mean they, the institution, the haters, and all of them are upset at him for speaking out. So you should have just treated him the way you're supposed to treat him. If none of this nonsense that they put him through or happen, he will still be over there. Like the audio said, you tell them everything that needs to be done, and then they do it. All in return, all you have to do, you feed them and clothe them. But no, you don't even want to do that. Yet you still want them to go and do things. How are they supposed to support themselves? How are they supposed to survive? All right, next tweet. Project Healthy Mind. Now, that's a little bit of the summit thing here. Most of these I've already spoke about on my other channel. Okay, this just ended. Prince Harry and Meghan will be joining Project Healthy Minds' second annual World Mental Health Day Festival at Hudson Yard, New York City on 10/10. Okay, that's November 10th. Okay, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will sit down with U.S. Surgeon General at NBC's Carson Daly for the Archewell Foundation Parent Summit, Mental Wellness in a Digital Age, a discussion on building community and positive change for a safer online world for young people. Harry and Meghan doing the research and making a much needed impact. Thank you, Surgeon General and Archewell, for this much needed discussion. And I think the other one, you know, the other brother and copy and paste, they're gonna be talking about that as well. So there were some tweets that made reference to it. No, it wasn't a tweet. It was on my phone when I opened it. It was one of those articles that was making the comparison between them two. And I was like, Harry and Meghan have been doing this, you know, especially Harry. He's the one who made the discussion become more part of the mental health discussion, more generalized, people to talk about it, because it has been going on for a very long time.
And we will always say yes to becoming patron of a charity that we believe in and that we're incredibly passionate about. But I think in today's world, you have to be involved with things that make sense to where your passions lie, rather than potentially turning up to a charity once a year. I don't think that's necessarily beneficial to anybody. But you know, our mental health campaign, Heads Together, back in the UK, is a classic example of where we were able to bring together 8 charities within the mental health sector.
With your mic.
I'm so sorry. No worries, thank you. We were able to bring together 8 mental health charities that have been working in the sector for many, many, many years. But being able to bring them together and say, right, you guys have never sat around a table together and discussed the main issues. What we want to be able to do now is, through our foundation, create a platform in which your expertise and your experience is elevated. And therefore, you tell us what needs to be done around mental health within the UK and globally. And they said, if you can remove the stigma, that makes our life a lot easier. So that's exactly what we did. We tried to remove the stigma and tried to normalize the discussion around mental health.
The other brother, on the other hand, just piggyback from it. And then the copy and paste, on the other hand, went berserk, because this topic is very sensitive and it needs so many research and professional. I have no idea where she's going with that. But she wants to do it. Hey, the more the merrier. Hopefully there's she come with some sort of a solution, but I don't think she's using it or dealing with it the right way. There's Harry and Meghan on the other hand, like they've said, I think through a People magazine. I didn't read the article, but someone made reference to it. Through People magazine, that the people that Harry and Meghan will be talking to, those parents, they've been talking to them for the past year. So it's not like out of nowhere they pick somebody and say, here, you're going to sit here, we're going to talk. So they already know the background of things, okay, to discuss it, probably bring professionals to help them tackle their issues. Okay, who knows how many thousands and millions of other parents who's going through it, the same type of situation that the people they will be talking about have gone through similar things. Okay, so Harry and Meghan have been doing their research, and Harry truly, I think, understand the foundation of it. He brings the expert to help those tackle issues.
You know, our mental health campaign, Heads Together, back in the UK, is a classic example. We were able to bring together 8 mental health charities that have been working in the sector for many, many, many years. But being able to bring them together and say, right, you guys have never sat around a table together and discussed the main issues. What we want to be able to do now is, through our foundation, create a platform in which your expertise and your experience is elevated.
This is where he becomes the bridge. He hears different issues, different topics, and he deals with all sort of people, all right, from professionals of different branches to people who probably never considered of doing anything. And he heard the problem, and he knows someone who could help them, and he make the connection. This is what Harry is all about, and Meghan, which is Archewell. Okay, Harry and Meghan doing the research, making a much needed impact. Thank you at Surgeon General and Archewell for this much needed discussion. Exciting. So looking forward to this important event. We love to see it sold out. Okay, I spoke about that already on my other channel. Wonderful. Can't wait. All right, so let's go to the next tweet, making reference to that same summit as well. Next tweet, there's this. I don't know, the text on Twitter, it's weird. I don't know, it's messing up my eyes. It makes it hard for me to read them. All right, this is, I saw this tweet. I think I put it out on our Part of Pure Service when I come across his tweet. There he is here. Dr. Vivek Murthy, U.S. Surgeon General. Next week, I'm joining forces with the Archewell Foundation to advance our national conversation on the youth mental health crisis. As Surgeon General and as a father of 2, I believe there is nothing more important than the well-being of our children. This, he retweeted that, Project Health Mind, which is what I just read. This just end. Prince Harry and Meghan will be joining Project Health Mind's 2nd annual World Mental Health Day Festival at Hudson Yard, New York. Okay, so this is the tweet that I just read, and the doctor retweeted it. And here are some comments. Okay, there's that. So this is him. All right, I'm excited for this. Hope we are able to follow online. And when it comes with the mental health thing, this is very crucial in our society, all of us. The other day I was looking at a video where a young boy the video was taken within a school bus, and then there's the kid outside destroying the bus, doing some crazy thing. I don't know what led to that, and you're hearing I believe the bus driver calling, I guess, her or his superior about what's happening, and said for the parents to come and get the kids because she can't really drive the bus away and doesn't want to bring the kid inside to disturb everybody else. There's really issues going on. When you see people acting erratically in public spaces, you have to think what really is going on with people's mental well-being. So a lot of things is going on in our society when every reaction, it's always the savage way. Okay, the initial reaction is the savage way. So yeah, tackling the mental aspect of people it's a really good thing that Harry and Meghan is bringing highlight to. Okay, I'm excited for this. Hope we are able to follow online. Okay, so that's an ad. Okay, super excited. This is very important, much needed conversation, especially in this age of social media and parasocial interaction. awesome. There was another video that I was seeing. I think this was a teacher who was talking about how parents are not really showing their kids their basic things, with things that social things that kids should know. And you would think they would know, but instead you have parents recording their kids, embarrassing the kids on social media for the kids not knowing, when in fact you should be showing the kids this is what happened. If you don't know, this is, yeah, there's a lot of things that's going on. That's it's from small little things that add on that was never tackled from the beginning, and it progresses to some crazy things that we are seeing right now. Okay, so let's read. Do yourself a favor and conduct some basic rudimentary research on the hateful following that Harry and Meghan rely on to promote themselves to detriment of free speech and civil discourse. You certainly don't want to be on the wrong side of history with these two. What the hell? This is the thing. When a small little progress is making forward, you have to come with people like this to disrupt the path forward. This is what this tweet is about. Let me see the 6th comment here. Okay, that hateful following clearly including people like you and tweet like yours. Since the topic is online bullying, don't you think he will be familiar with the derangers who stalked the couple? Nailed it. Semi-royal grifters. Wow, when they talk about grifters, phew. And this is the blind thing they're putting on people. So let's just get out of this. I'm already a couple hours here. Okay, I mean minutes. So the well-being of our children is #1 priority, like spending time with them. Don't make me laugh, okay? Does anyone think at the suffering Sussexes to such serious highlighted day will do anything other than make it into a farce? I don't know. Totally want to hear why Gen Z is so anti-socializing IRL. These people only want to use apps and machines to communicate, no interpersonal skills, and younger generation. Yeah, and the younger generation. That's true. Okay, looking forward to your conversation about the youth mental health crisis, Dr. Murphy. All right, so there's more. You could see where some people try to distract from what really matters. Because at some point, people need to sit down and talk about certain things. But there's here, they're talking about it. Harry's bringing highlight to specific. Remember, in life, there's different branches of so many other topic. So this is one of minuscule of topic in our society that Harry and Meghan wants to talk about. Now you have other people who feel like what Harry and Meghan are talking about should not be, and then they start calling them name. Meanwhile, instead of them, okay, if you feel like there should be something else to be discussed, then bring another branch of things to be discussed. Don't prevent one from doing something positive and then to try to hold them back. This is insane. This is insane. Really insane. Meanwhile, the others who's creating chaos on vast scale, they let them be. They let them be. Instead of putting a halt or some sort of a stop to it. Next tweet. All right, so there's this here. Wow. There's a loving eye. It's a world-class event. No Harry and Meghan ain't going to seek for oysters in New York River, nor will they go to Fire Engine Place to preach mental health like Willie did. Harry and Meghan is doing work that are above the Monarchy's league. Top Surgeon General. Cheers. Okay, so there's this here. Yes, the U.S. Surgeon General will be present. The thing is that, okay, this is why they give them the time and the space to discuss this kind of thing. When Harry, Meghan are talking to professionals, all right, these people, the professionals that they're talking to, sit in classrooms for years to learn their field. So when they come and talk to different group of people, the interaction tells them who's serious about the things that they spoke about, right? So when Harry and Meghan are talking to those professionals, they understand their seriousness of the subject being discussed. They see them that they're trying to make a difference. So yeah, if they want to do something, why not? They have the platform. Let me give them the time and space to discuss certain things. But when they talk with other people who's spewing bullshit, okay, you could You could sense when somebody is bullshitting you. You don't need to tell them you're bullshitting, but you just listen to them and you see they telling you crap. So when they try to get a minute, some time of your day to still spewing BS, you know you don't want to spend your time wasting your time with them. So when Harry and Meghan are discussing certain topic, and if they ask someone, can you please, let's discuss this and that, yeah, they'll give them the time and day. So they know Harry and Meghan means business. All right, yes, the U.S. Surgeon General will be present. This is major. Harry and Meghan are working with the big ones. Okay, so there's Jo-Diva here. Wow, the U.S. top doctor will be there too. This sounds like it's going to be a super world-class event. I feel that I read this already. The summit will feature parents who have experienced tragic loss connected to their child's social media use. Meghan and Harry have been working with the parents involved in next week's event. Behind the scenes, people has learned. So this is where I was saying, wow, all right. They've been talking to them way before. Okay, you're right. Harry doesn't copy really. Harry and Meghan have more important things to do than go to river and park to see firemen in front of tourists. It's a first Archewell in-person event for new parents' mental health issue, which is very real issue for many people. Amen. You got that right, my friend. Yep, there's this. The commander-in-chief took time out of his day to meet William. So what does that have to do with mental health? I mean, remember, this is where... what's that thing? There's a word for it. It's a form of diplomacy where the president, the commander-in-chief, is showing good diplomacy, friendship. But did William receive it the same way? Is he using the presidency? Because from what I remember, he came to the U.S. and New York for photo op, and then to go back to his homeland to show the people he was doing something. All right, but the U.S. is using it as a form of diplomacy. You are a visitor, so he took the time to whatever the meeting was discussed of. But when William came to New York City recently, when he went to see the oysters or whatever he did over there, I don't think the president met with him. It was for the Earthshot in Boston, I remember. But the mayor of New York had to cancel the meeting. Something came up. That's what they were saying. But I don't think the president had met with them when he came to New York. That's my understanding. If they did, I'm not aware of it. Where because he's supposed to be the future king, so they have to whatever. Let's see the two comment under it. Okay, there's this here. Bully is just a fake, as his typical Windsor marriage, and neither he nor his estranged wife have accomplished anything thus far until Meghan came on the scene and she had overshadowed them. Nothing positive was written about them. Now the invisible contract protects them. All right, so there's that. I mean, eventually everything must come to an end. So they have to put the other ones into the conversation. And there I am. I was reading it. Whatever's there, that's it. That's the laugh. The summit they'll be part of is for important creating a better online world for kids and teens. I'm excited to learn what ideas they have and the data they'll share on topics. Why even mention the other compare the activities, everything Harry and Meghan do doesn't need to be validated as better than or different to what other irrelevant people are up to. It seems a bit pointless, to be honest. That's true. All right, let's go to the next tweet. There's this here. There's Jo-Diva. The baby's back. Okay, how dare Harry and Meghan host a summit in New York City on World Mental Health Day? And why is the U.S. Surgeon General participating in their debacle? Harry and Meghan should know that New York City is William's territory. This type of world-class event diminishes the performative work of Wank, William and Kate. His Majesty the King must remove all titles. Okay, I miss Baby Derangers. There's that. Okay, good one, Joe. There's that. They should go jogging one morning since they'll be there. Love it. I understand some of the squaddies don't like to compare. I understand that, which is fine. But now that the other side know, there's Harry and Meghan that have been doing the work and the mental aspect of things. and the mental field. So maybe perhaps the other ones could take that a little bit more seriously. I know they're just playing, they're just putting up front. I remember the shout, what happened to it once Harry left, and we've heard the other one been talking about it for years, okay, where she sat down with some professionals and First Lady Biden was talking to her about it. When First Lady Biden was about to discuss more, they shut down the conversation.
With parents, because that relationship had to open up, right? Because there were so many areas where teachers were helping parents and parents were helping teachers, and so it's just such a fascinating discussion. But I think we're moving in the right direction. And I also wanted to ask about food security. I had so many things that I wanted to ask about, but I guess I'll have to just come back.
So we already know they're not serious about it, but because this is a worldwide issue, anyone who could come out of any of this discussion in a positive way, that's good. But I just hope the other side, not Harry and Meghan. I know Harry specifically have been very on point with this. He's very serious about it. But the other one who's playing along, putting a front or whatever, I hope in some shape or form they take it very seriously and have a solution for this topic. All right, so yeah. All right, next tweet.
So right now, let's join together across the UK and reach out to someone.
If you're struggling, it's important to talk about it. Or if you know someone who is acting differently, it's okay to ask how they are.
Because not many people have asked if I'm okay.
And the answer is, would it be fair to say not really okay? And it's really been a struggle.
Yes.
You have to prioritize your mental health. You have to say to yourself, at some point, because it's very easy to run away from it, to walk away from it and avoid it the whole time. Someone has to take the lead and has to be brave enough to force that conversation.
Look, I was really ashamed to say it at the time, and ashamed to have to admit it to Harry, especially, because I know how much loss he's suffered. Mm-hmm. But I knew that if I didn't say it, that I would do it, and I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
I'm sorry, I don't believe a word she says, Meghan Markle.
Well, that's a
I wouldn't believe it if she read me a weather report.
Someone...
I'm not taking anything they said at face value, I'm afraid.
As part of the legacy of the Heads Together campaign, we wanted to do our best to make it easier for people to start to get the help they need.
I went to the institution and I said that I needed to go somewhere to get help, so that I've never felt this way before and I need to go somewhere. And I was told that I couldn't, that it wouldn't be good for the institution. This wasn't a choice. This was emails and begging for help, saying very specifically, I am concerned for my mental welfare.
We wanted to work with all of you to change the national conversation on mental health. There is more work to do, but something has really started to change.
I've had some messages communicated to me on behalf of several members of the royal family.
Upper level
I'm very
people?
grateful that... Well, I'm not going to go into who it was, but what I would say is gratitude that somebody was standing up for them.
So this is a tweet that I came across after I finished record. I've edited it, but I have not rendered that video yet. So I thought it was good to put it in the video because it makes sense with some of the things that I've already said. Look, at right now is actually 10 a.m. It's been a couple hours since I first recording the thing. So let's read some of the comments here. So I've already showed you this video. Egg and Bone cannot talk about mental health. We will never forget. All right, so that's the thing that I was saying. I hope they take this thing seriously. Okay, it said having to watch the hypocrites stand up and talk, and yet he helped to make Meghan's life a misery and in need of help. Her cry for help wasn't heeded, and to think that she was pregnant at that time. Very powerful. I despise Egg and Bone with every fiber of my being. Hypocrites, no credibility. William had his palace sources marking Harry's mental health. struggles back in 2020 to undermine his arguments of why Harry left. The same family that drove Princess Diana to despair even today makes a twisted sport out of gaslighting Meghan. Okay, thank you. Saving this clip for the copy and pasty gaslight next week. Everything they claim they advocate for is always just for PR. Skull and Bone only care about trying to one-up anything that Meghan and Harry do. Bone accent is infuriating. It's paid for. She had lesson when she joined the mafia cult family. Very annoying. Unfortunately, not able to retweet, and retweet icon is Grace. We will never forget. Okay, so let me see. I think I could retweet it.
So right now, let's join together across the UK and reach out.
Yeah, I guess she limit who can retweet it. I'll retweet it later because I could retweet it. All right, so that's it. I'm just going to insert it on my last recording this morning. That's the general. What is that? Just general. Okay, so there's this here. Jo-Diva again. Everything Harry and Meghan do is more modern, more authentic, more relatable, and more effective than anything the leftovers could possibly attempt. That's for sure. Also, Harry and Meghan live a life of purpose and look great while doing it. Okay, and more American. They also donate, that's for sure. They don't just show up, pose for photos, shake hands, and or pretend to pack boxes. They actually donate to people in need. They never show up empty-handed.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's just more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So, you know.
They actually donate to people in need.
I think so. We have great news. They're very generous, aren't they? Mine's learning. How to do. Good luck with that.
There's a heart. I also love that they don't just attach their names to causes, but put in actual time, research, continue support, and promote those causes.
The protocol may have been lending your name and using your name to create a halo around the organization that would benefit it. And it sounds like the younger royals are more about more than just name association, more direct action and involvement. So do you feel you're more hands-on? Is that fair to say?
I think in today's world you have to be. I think you have to be much more hands-on, and also.
Why? I mean, why do you have to be? You could have done it the same way. You could have had 200 charities and been a patron of them. I mean, no one would have thought any different.
No, but if you end up working individually for, let's say, 200 charities, in today's world, I think that kind of dilutes the impact that you can have. What our foundation is all about and what our platform is all about is encouraging people to come together, to work together, so that there's less competition within that sector, whether it's financially or otherwise, and saying, right, guys, you're doing the same thing. Please, let's get around a table, talk to each other, work it out, and come up with a long-term strategy.
But doesn't this seem obvious? Like, why haven't other people done it then? So you've created, with your brother and sister-in-law, the Royal Foundation. Okay, you've started a charity. My first question would be, do we need another charity? So, you know, what was your thinking in coming together? Whose idea was this?
So that's my motto is exactly that. Why another charity? Our foundation is not another charity. We're not trying to take up any more space. I think we all agree that the charity sector is quite full at the moment. But as I said, what we're trying to do is use our platform to be able to bring people together to affect change.
So why haven't other people done this?
Because I genuinely believe that we as a foundation will never be able to compete with some of the other big foundations financially, as weird as that may sound, but that's fact. What we do have is a unique ability to be able to put our name and everything that comes with to a really good purpose, to a really good cause. And as I said, there are many organizations out there that have never come together and that would never sit around a table and discuss the topic of which they're all involved with, but we've proven that. We've made that possible.
So in some ways you're leveraging your name, it seems to me. Does this create something very, very unique to you and your brother and sister-in-law, and that you can get these people to come together and talk to each other, because working together is hard.
Yeah, well, it's hard working together as a family, it's hard working together. And it's hard working together when you are scrapping for the same money within the same sector, as a lot of people know. But, you know, through some of the initiatives that we've created, Invictus Games, as an example, that brought together 10, 12 different service charities to be able to share expertise, share knowledge, share experience, specifically around mental health, so that they were all standardization across the board to make sure that whatever the best practice was, everybody was sharing that. And therefore, if there's a wounded soldier that's left the forces, that's been lost in amongst the chaos of everything else, if they stick their head above the parapet and they go to Help for Heroes, one of the charities in the UK, if that's not for them, like you go to your supermarket, everybody chooses the supermarket that they want to go to. It's the same with the charity sector. And if you've got 101 choices to choose from, every single person is uniquely wired, and therefore their cure or their fix will be specific to them. But what we're able to do is bring everybody together once again around a table and say, right, you're now part of a group, you're part of something, and therefore anybody that comes in gets the opportunity or the option of 12 of you rather than one of you.
Whose idea was this? I mean, who was it? You or Prince William or
The Royal Foundation?
Yeah.
Can't even remember. But
was it just obviously a good idea, or?
I think.
OMG, there's the leftovers. Yeah, that's what we, or left behinders, sometimes I call them. The leftovers love it. The pick is something, and many thanks. All right. So now I'm into fashion. I have 6 tweets into fashion.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.
You are all in this together. And if I may speak personally, we are all in this together. Because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.